The heroes start today. I'm Bradley Charbonneau. Welcome to the YouTube channel. And today I'm starting with the heroes. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, we have villains, we have heroes, and we have guides. These are all like voices in our heads that we listen to. And over 27 weeks, I am sort of creating these characters through their year of you, through each one writing a very short book in quotes there if you're watching the video, because you'll see it's not really a book. Well, it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. But anyway, let's get to that. I want to do a quick behind the scenes here because people talking with a friend and she was wondering like, what is that spreadsheet? What is going on? So I want to give you a little behind the scenes of what's going on here behind the villains and the heroes and the guide. And just to give you a bigger picture, this all stems from the question, now what? Now what? Question mark, exclamation point. Now what? This is the pretty much the theme of my world in 2025 and also beginning in 2026. If things go as planned, then I will launch a book called Now What on January 1st, 2026. That's the current plan. Speaking of which, I am looking to interview 27 people for this book. Ideally, you associate or you hear one of these voices from the 27 characters, being the nine villains, the nine heroes, or the nine guides, right? We're here to give you a little bit of just a little peek into my crazy spreadsheet. Or I'm gonna zoom out to show you like this thing is just nuts, right? So what am I doing? I'm basically like analyzing, psychoanalyzing, describing these different characters so that we can sort of associate or be aware of who these characters are. Who are these voices in our heads that tell us to, don't get started with that. Wait till tomorrow. It's not perfect yet. The typical, the imposter syndrome, the procrastinator, the perfectionist, right? That kind of stuff. The comparison, Carl. So to go through the nine villains, so you can see them on the screen if you're watching the screen. So the villains are up there, and we've got three different realms, like the Repossible realms. I also just like that word realm. And the realms are chaos, comfort, and control. Right? And you'll see when we get to hero, they move into clarity, courage, and confidence, which I've been talking about for years. So in the villain collection there under chaos, there's Mañana Mateo, there's overthinking Oliver, and there's comparison Carl. Any of those ring a bell? And we got comfort, just fearful Fiona. We've got imposter Irene, and we have procrastination Patty, right? Control, we have distraction Danny, we have manifest Mira, and we have perfectionist Pearl. So those are the villains. For the past 9 weeks, I have created, thanks to this massive spreadsheet here, right? I have characteristics. I have their, they have a book. They've all written a book. They all have one word titles, right? Someday and measure and stuff like that. They have book subtitles. And all of this is also what I'm proposing you do is put together this book. More on that later. You can always go to repossible.com/YOY, the letter YOY. O like the letter O, YOY. I also like it because I'm like, why, oh, why have I not done this before? Because what we're doing, let me just give it to you straight. What we're doing is we are forecasting our future. We are future history. We are making a future history of our coming year. Meaning that here, if you follow me on the spreadsheet, you'll see dedication. Forward, preface, here, epilogue. The epilogue we are writing in the future. And I want you to write it in the past tense and it looks back and you describe the past year, right? But this past year, of course, is really from today's present persona, it's the future year. So you're going to future history your coming year, and ideally in lots of detail, and talk about how the great things that you're going to accomplish. Now, my kids say like, "Oh, well, I won the lottery and I bought a Ferrari." Okay, let's tone it down a little, get a little closer to reality. But I would like it to go a step above sort of the mundane and the expected. The unexpected is so fun, right? So that's what the epilogue is all about. And so I've now done these for the past 9 weeks. Every Wednesday, I call it One Wednesday, like WON or ONE, take your pick. One Wednesday, and I have published each of these nine books. And if you'd like to see more of them, you can go to repossible.com/villain. You can take a little quiz to see which villain you associate most with. And then there are the 9 different villain books. You can get them at, you can also go to my store. I'll share links here below. Don't worry about that. What I really wanted to talk about today are the heroes, because the heroes, I just want to show you my ChatGPT on this. ChatGPT is helping me structure. Remember, I am a creative master. I am a machine of ideas. I just spit them out like crazy. And pretty much, and I don't mean this as like I'm better, but nobody can keep up with my ideas except Charlie. Charlie is my ChatGPT, Charlie Holiday, if you like his full name. And he and I go back and forth and we create these characters, right? So here, I just want to show you what I want to share this because this is really important as to the difference between the villain and the hero. Okay, so the thing about the villain is that if you're thinking of a villain, you might be thinking of like this bad guy from a superhero movie, right? But if you think about like Mañana Mateo, he believes in his, delaying tactics. He's also just kind of lazy, right? But we know we have a part of mañana in us, in Mateo, but we want to get above that. We want to get over that. And we want to, like, so he has a hero. This is all like intertwined, right? So his hero is Action Alex. Because Mañana Mateo doesn't really take action, right? He's all about mañana, mañana, tomorrow, tomorrow. So he would like to take action. So his hero, his dream boat, his dream scenario is somebody like Action Alex. So that's where the heroes come in. So to to summarize, the villains are maybe the villains are like the devil on our shoulder, and the hero is the angel. The angel is, do this, accomplish that, daily habits. What do we have for the heroes? We've got focused Finn. By the way, these might change in the coming 9 weeks as I work on these. Focus Finn, Action Alex, and True Theo. Those are in the clarity realm. In the courage realm, we have Brave Bella, Decisive Dana. If you think it's not courageous to take decisions, then maybe you haven't made that many decisions, big decisions. And we got Momentum Maxine. I like her. In confidence, we've got Sure Sam, Methodical Miranda, and Permission Pema. Fun, right? So are you feeling any of these? Do you have any other ideas from me? Am I missing anybody? Missing anybody in the villains there that you're not seeing? Or in the heroes? So now, for the next 9 weeks, today is Wednesday, August 30th, 2025. August 30th, August 20th, 2025. For the next 9 weeks, I'm going to create a book for each one of these characters for these heroes. And here, this is what I wanted to really show you. The villains are little devil whispering in our heads. They're holding us back. But we think they're good somehow, right? They're good like salespeople, right? They're like, Mañana Mateo's just like, he's amazing, right? He's like, he'll convince you to do it tomorrow. He's good at what he does. All the villains are very good at what they do, but they're sort of like conniving and deceiving and secretive and slimy and salesy, right? So we have villains and heroes in our head, more of a question of who we're listening to. Let's get to the heroes. How do we distinguish them from the villains? How are we going to write their books? Let's remember. The villains, they write books and they're proud of them. But they're secretly striving to become heroes. Now, there's an important element here in the Repossible framework. It says from A to B to C, and C is spelled SEE, because I am a humble believer in the idea that we think our goal is to be a hero, but the real goal, the big meaning, comes from when we reach the level of guide, because guide is now no longer about you. Hero is all about you. Villain is really about someone else. Well, villain could be about the devil of you, and maybe hero is about the angel of you. That's great. But after a certain time, when you have achieved your successes and you've arrived at the level where you think you wanted to be, you'll notice a sense of emptiness. And this is where the guides come in, because the guides are our true calling. And what the guides do is basically help villains become heroes. Other villains in the world, not themselves, help other villains to become heroes. That's the role of the guide. And in my humble opinion, I think this is the role of humans. This is the role of humanity, is to become a guide and help others achieve what they have achieved through their experience and time and wisdom, but mostly experience because they have themselves gone from the villain to the hero. And then when you're at hero, then and only then, great mathematical phrase there. It's like the mathematical phrase IFF, if and only if, or then and only then, can you see, wait a minute, I think guide is the real goal. I'm giving away like a lot of what I'm up to in the coming 18 weeks, but I wanted to share because people were asking me, my behind the scenes, how in the world am I organizing all this stuff? Because I've got 27 books, and are you serious? 27 books? Are you kidding? And this is how I'm doing it. I don't have the guides done yet. I'll be working on them in the coming weeks because the guides, like they're higher level. I mean, look at this catalyst, connection, contribution. Wow, right? Can you just like feel the levity in the words, the difference? You know, we've got the villains are at chaos, comfort, and control. It's like because by the way, comfort sounds good, right? You know, oh, comfort, well, that's a good thing, right? Control, well, that's a good thing. Yeah, wait till you meet the villains. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, go to repossible.com/villain, take the little quiz, and find out which of the villains you associate with most. And then the quiz I do not have yet, although if you ask me, I will create it, is the heroes. How do we get to this hero? Like, what's the hero we're striving towards? And you know, this is what I think, right? Each of my villains here has a hero. But I don't know, are those really yours? And are these good heroes? I'd love to hear your feedback on the ideas of the villains and the heroes and the guides. What do you think? Okay, that was a little snippet into my world here on a fine Wednesday morning in the Netherlands on August 20th, 2025. And I say all this stuff because this keeps me accountable as well. And also, so does this spreadsheet. You'll notice I'm checking along the weeks. Every week since June 18th, I've published a book. Okay. So you can go to shop.repossible.com and shop.repossible.com and find all these books. And I'll hope to see you there. And let me know your feedback about the villains and the upcoming heroes and who you associate with most, and if you think there's somebody missing. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.